My friends, there's a delicate topic few people dare to discuss, especially after turning 60. We're talking about men's genital health. Many assume that part of life is just a memory. But the truth is, small changes down there aren't just about age or performance, but are an early warning sign for your cardiovascular health, and even your future risk of a stroke or heart attack. You heard that right? In modern medicine, cardiologists often look at erectile function to assess the quality of blood flow, because the penis is one of the first places to respond when blood vessels begin to narrow. Seemingly small signs, like a weak erection despite still having desire, or no longer experiencing regular morning erections like before, could be the early alarm bell for atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, or peripheral artery disease that is silently progressing in your body. Perhaps you're thinking, that's just part of getting old. Everyone goes through it. But that is a dangerous misconception, because if you let those signs slide by without paying attention, you might be missing your best opportunity to intervene early, protecting your heart and even your very survival down the road. In today's video, I want to walk through 4 silent changes in the private area that men over 60 often experience but tend to ignore. Each sign, from difficulty with erections despite desire, to feelings of coldness or numbness, to changes in skin color, is an early warning letter from your circulatory system. And the good news is, if you catch it early, you can improve it, not just to maintain your vigor, but to protect your heart. If you are here and ready to look at your health with honesty and proactivity, I invite you to stay until the end of this video, because the final sign, though the smallest, can say the most about the state of the blood vessels inside your body. Before we start, if you find this topic meaningful, please hit that like button to help spread this practical health information to other men who need it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any health content dedicated to this important stage of life. Now let's get to the first sign where things often begin, when you still have the desire, but you just can't maintain it. Change. 1. Poor or unsustainable erections despite having desire. When you were younger, you probably didn't have to think much. As soon as you felt aroused, your body would automatically respond. But then, at some point, even though your mind still has the desire, your body no longer follows orders. The erection comes on slowly, is weak, or doesn't last long. And you start asking, is it just because I'm getting older? The truth is, age is only part of it. But what's more important and more dangerous is that these changes often appear before you have any cardiovascular symptoms. Doctors call this an early warning sign of small vessel disease, when the capillaries in the penis begin to narrow, harden, or become blocked. And the frightening part is, it often happens 3 to 5 years before a patient experiences high blood pressure, a stroke, or a heart attack. Try to imagine, if the vascular system is a network of pipes, then the penis has the smallest nozzles, most sensitive to any changes in pressure, flow, and elasticity. When not enough blood arrives at the right time, or isn't trapped long enough, an erection cannot be sustained. And this isn't a matter of losing your edge. It's a reminder from your own circulatory system that something is wrong inside. Dennis, a 68-year-old from Florida, shared that he still felt desire, still loved his wife, but every time they were intimate, he felt a sense of disappointment. Not because he wasn't trying, but because his body wasn't the same. When he got a checkup, he was diagnosed with mild atherosclerosis, despite having no prior heart symptoms. Paying attention to that private sign helped him detect it early and adjust in time by changing his diet, exercising, and managing his blood pressure. Medically, an erection is the result of a sophisticated chain reaction between the nervous system, hormones, and especially the blood vessels. If just one link is broken, like hardened arteries, high cholesterol, or hormonal imbalance, the entire reaction weakens. So what should you do? First, don't be ashamed and don't dismiss it. If you have desire but frequently struggle to maintain an erection, it's time for a general cardiovascular checkup. Blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, and peripheral circulation. At the same time, start with simple changes. Eat less animal fat, increase your green vegetables, take a light 30-minute walk daily, and especially get enough sleep, because sleep is also when male hormones are best regulated. Remember, a weak erection doesn't say you've lost your manhood. It just says your body needs you to listen and to act. And if you start listening now, not only will your quality of life improve, but your heart might avoid a major event in the future. And once you've started paying attention, there's another sign, often more silent, but no less alarming. It's when you realize you no longer wake up at attention like you used to. Change it to decreased frequency of morning erections over time. If difficulty getting an erection when desired is a sign you'd easily notice in your intimate life, there's another signal, a quieter one, but no less accurate, the disappearance of morning erections. Do you remember the last time you woke up and noticed your body's natural response, without any particular stimulation? If that used to happen regularly, almost like a biological rhythm, but has recently become infrequent or disappeared completely, then this is not a normal part of aging, as many people still think. A morning erection is a sign of biological health. It's not just related to sexuality, but is also proof that blood is still circulating well at night, male hormones are stable, and the nervous system controlling sexual function is still responding correctly. When this frequency decreases, it can be the first indicator that the blood vessels in your pelvic and genital area are weakening. Endocrinologist Dr. Stephen Lamb once said, "Every morning erection is a natural stress test for a man's vascular health." And he warns that men over 60, if they no longer have this phenomenon for several consecutive weeks, should consider it a valid reason to get their cardiovascular system checked, especially for the risk of atherosclerosis and poor blood supply to the pelvic region. Michael, a 70-year-old from San Diego, said he didn't pay attention to this until his best friend, after a heart attack, shared that, "I lost my morning erections almost a year before I had my heart attack." That statement made Michael start paying attention to his own body, and sure enough, the same thing was happening to him. He went for an exam, discovered he had high cholesterol and microcirculatory issues, but luckily he intervened early, thanks to that seemingly very private sign. The reason this phenomenon is so important is because the morning erection process doesn't depend on emotions or desire, but is a purely biological reflex occurring during REM sleep when testosterone levels peak. If this cycle is disrupted, it could be due to declining hormones, sleep disturbances, or narrowed blood vessels supplying the genital area. Therefore, if you notice the frequency of morning erections has significantly dropped, don't just ignore it. That's when you should check your sleep, blood sugar, blood pressure, and factors causing chronic inflammation in your body. In addition, prioritize regular exercise, reduce stress, eat foods that support natural testosterone like almonds, fatty fish, dark leafy greens, and especially limit alcohol in the evening, as it interferes with the natural erection reflex during sleep. Consider this phenomenon as a daily message from your circulatory system, gentle, silent, but not to be ignored. Because when blood stops flowing to the right place, at the right time, your heart could be the next place affected. And on this journey of listening to your body, there's another very clear sign, but often dismissed as temporary, a feeling of coldness or tingling in the genital area. So what is it trying to tell you? We'll explore that right after this. Change 3, coldness or numbness in the genital area due to poor circulation. One morning you get out of bed and suddenly notice something strange. Your private area feels cold. It's not the weather, and it's not the fan or air conditioning. It has simply lost that warmth, that feeling of vitality it usually has. Sometimes you might even feel a tingling sensation, or like you can't fully feel the skin there anymore. And if this is happening repeatedly, do not take it lightly. In medicine, the genital region is an extremely sensitive area in terms of sensation because it has a dense network of nerves and capillaries. The feeling of being warm, sensitive, distinct is a sign of a well-functioning nervous and circulatory system. When those sensations diminish, especially a feeling of coldness or a slight numbness, It's often a sign of reduced peripheral circulation, meaning blood isn't reaching the area like it used to. And when there isn't enough blood flow, not only is sensation reduced, but the cells also lack nutrients and oxygen, causing the tissue in the private area to degenerate, leading to a decline in physiological function and healing ability. This condition is often seen in people with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, or a long history of smoking, and is often mistaken for normal aging. Luis, a 74-year-old from New Jersey, used to think the tingling in his groin was just from sleeping in the wrong position. But then he started to notice it happened when he sat for long periods, after long walks, even in a hot shower. After an examination, his doctor discovered he had pelvic artery stenosis and mild peripheral neuropathy, two factors preventing enough blood from nourishing his genital area. After he changed his diet, did gentle yoga each morning, and used prescribed vasodilators, that natural warmth gradually returned. Mechanically, the lack of blood flow to the genital area doesn't happen suddenly. It's a silent process. As small arteries begin to lose their elasticity, blood moves more slowly, and sensory nerves start to fall asleep. Sometimes it's the first signal that you're at risk for chronic circulatory disorders, affecting not just sexual function, but also your brain, heart, and limbs later on. So what should you do? First, pay attention to the situations when your private area feels colder than usual. Does it happen after sitting for a long time, after a fatty meal, after stress? These small clues will help you identify factors hindering circulation. Increase light activities like walking, stretching, gentle knee lifts, or exercises that stretch the hip-thigh-pelvic region to open up blood pathways to the groin. Additionally, supplementing with foods rich in natural nitrates like beets, spinach, or pomegranates can also help improve microcirculation, without needing medication if it's not truly necessary. Remember, warmth in your private area isn't just about comfort, it's a sign that your body is circulating, vibrant, and responding well to life. And when you lose that sensation, don't just accept it, try to get it back. Because after all, the most worrying thing isn't a strange feeling, but the prolonged silence of a body that has stopped speaking up. If you're still watching and find these insights helpful, drop a 3 in the comments below to let me know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss our next video. Your support helps us continue to create more helpful and inspiring content. Change of 4. Unusual changes in the color or skin of the private area. There's something many men are hesitant to notice or don't dare to look at closely, and that's a change in the color or texture of the skin in their genital area. But those changes, however small, can be the first signal that your circulatory system or your immune system is having trouble. Try to recall, have you recently noticed the skin on your penis or scrotum becoming darker or unusually pale? Have you ever had a red, dry, flaky, or discolored patch on one side? These seemingly minor things, if they happen repeatedly and are unrelated to irritation or hygiene, could be the result of insufficient blood flow or tissue not being properly nourished. When the vascular system is working well, the genital skin has a light pinkish hue, is soft, even-toned, and responds quickly to touch. But if blood flow is poor, or there's chronic inflammation in the body, you might see the skin change color, becoming purplish, pale, or developing dark patches, accompanied by dryness, mild irritation, or even a loss of sensation. Albert, a 73-year-old from Arizona, was hesitant to see a doctor when he noticed the tip of his penis was a bit darker than usual. He thought it was just age, but a few weeks later the skin started to dry out and lose its elasticity. When he went to a urologist, he was diagnosed early with peripheral vasculitis, and they also discovered he had type 2 diabetes, which he never knew he had. Thanks to a discovery in his private area, he started changing his diet, controlling his blood sugar, and exercising regularly. His skin recovered, and he avoided a stroke that could have happened at any moment. Medically, the small blood vessels under the genital skin are extremely sensitive to metabolic disorders, like high cholesterol, unstable blood sugar, or low testosterone. When skin cells don't get enough oxygen, they change color to sound the alarm. It's the body's natural defense mechanism. But if you don't pay attention, that signal will fade, and the damage will silently deepen. What you can do today is to gently observe your private area once a week after a shower in a well-lit place. Not to find fault, but to understand if your body is trying to tell you something. Look for signs like changes in skin color, the appearance of dry patches, a noticeably darker area on one side, or a feeling of thicker, less elastic skin. These are early warning signs, not of a skin condition, but possibly of an underlying systemic disease. If you notice any sign that lasts for more than 2 weeks, don't hesitate to get it checked. It's not just for peace of mind, it's to protect your entire circulatory, nervous, metabolic, and physiological systems, parts that seem separate, but are in fact always connected. Because the body is always speaking, it's just a matter of whether you are willing to listen. My friends, there are changes in a man's body after 60 that are not loud, not dramatic, but are the first knock on the door for major diseases. The 4 seemingly private signs in the genital area we just went through, from difficulty with erections, loss of morning erections, unusual coldness or numbness, to changes in skin color, are not simply about physiology. They are a mirror reflecting the state of your cardiovascular, neurological, and circulatory health. Perhaps you've considered these changes as part of getting old, as something that naturally has to happen. But the truth is they are not the end point, but a signal for you to start looking at yourself more proactively and mindfully. The good news is it's never too late to listen to your body again. Whether you've noticed one sign or all 4, the important thing is that you've recognized it, and recognition is the first step toward change. Today, I invite you to take a moment. You don't need to go to the hospital right away. Just sit down and ask yourself, is my body sending any signals that I've been missing? Start tracking the frequency of morning erections. Feel for warmth in your private area. Notice your skin color and observe your response when you feel desire. These are 4 simple checks, but they could save your heart in the future. And if you find you have any of these signs, don't hesitate to act. Get regular checkups, adjust your diet, get enough sleep, walk every day, cut back on sweets, and most importantly, give your body the attention it deserves. If the insights in this video made you think or helped you see something you once overlooked, please leave a comment below. You can simply type the number 1 to let me know you're still here, still listening, and on this journey with me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so our future content can continue to accompany you quietly but profoundly, just as your own body does every day. Thank you for your time today. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue our journey of living with understanding, living proactively, and living truly healthy in this unhurried chapter of life.